we have Norders CEO here. He was here last year. We've got amazing things about branding last year, and he's the best person to tell you what to do with branding. So let's meet Joonas Kylliäinen.
Yes. Hello everyone. Glad to be back. Everyone's still alive. Week going well. Cool. I heard you guys talk. I overheard you talking about if one maybe should start with doing something for free in the beginning, even, or with very lowered prices. That's the conversation I picked up. Not sure if that was the whole thing. When it comes to brand, one of the advices I've hated the most is that lowering prices is a bad idea. Increasing prices is difficult. I believe everything is due to the value you create, and your brand is the value you create. I started Norders 5 years ago with my wife. We built 5 first websites that we did for absolutely free. Everyone told us that's the shittiest idea ever. You're going to be doing websites for free forever. We've built websites for 500,000 this year, so not turning out so bad. And it's the best idea we've ever done, because then we created value for someone, and then they started talking, hey, can you do the same for me? And all of a sudden we were charging for things. And I remember the first time we invoiced 400 euros for a website, and I called my wife, like, we're gonna be rich. We just invoiced 400 euros, pop up the champagne. So I think the worst business advice I've gotten is start high, increase your prices early, because it's going to be difficult later on. I think it's all about creating value, and that's your brand. And that's a lot what I'm going to be talking about today. So we have now around 90 minutes. I haven't timed myself. I tend to speak longer than I've scheduled, but we have around 90 minutes to go through my ideas of what a brand is. I have some examples that I like. And then we share some tasks for you guys to do over lunch. And then we get back, and we don't have like an official competition or anything. We just, we can.
We can have, and there's time for that.
If you guys like competition, I can come up with some prices for it. And yeah, sounds good. Yeah, so a bit of background story. So I'm originally from nearby Kouvola, and like many boys of my age, I was supposed to be a professional hockey player. Maybe you noticed by now I'm not, and so I did what I knew the next best thing was nothing. So I moved to the Helsinki area, completely lost, knew nothing about what I wanted to do with my life, pretty miserable, got into drugs and a finance mess, all the good stuff. And then I found myself in B2B sales of all the sexy things, and still on that journey. I launched my own little marketing agency 5 years ago when I started noticing that B2B brands especially struggle a lot with profitable marketing. And that has been my journey now for the last 15 years, really. So my days really go into B2B marketing especially. I'm pretty confused with my own consumer behavior, so I'm not the master of B2C consumer branding, but I tried to implement both aspects here. I do have some cool B2C examples here I also want to share today, but that's really my craft, is in B2B sales and marketing. And Norders, we're now 10 people strong, still a small sales and marketing agency, or as we like to position ourselves, as a revenue operations agency. So we really focus on creating revenue for B2B companies, mostly in Finland these days. We have 30% of our team is working on sales enablement, sales automation, 30% on creative things such as web design, graphic design, branding, and then 30% on video, photography, and so on. So we try to do the whole jazz. Other than B2B sales and marketing, I personally now live in Espoo with my small family, and yeah, that's it. That's all. A very important disclaimer for this workshop is that I think one of the coolest things today in today's environment is audience building. I don't know, have you touched that at all this week? Not that much. We should have another workshop on that. I think that's one of the most valuable skills a business can have these days, is how to build an audience and then scale that audience into whatever you are trying to sell them. And it doesn't really matter if your audience is through sports or your business craft, just having an audience is really important today, because if no one knows you, no one can buy from you, right? And one of the most important things for building an audience today, not least because of how digital algorithms work, is through personal branding. So most of the algorithms that we see today for audience building, especially TikTok, LinkedIn, Instagram, they prefer personal brands, human beings, instead of company brands. So think about your personal branding is important, but today's session is about building a brand for the business, for the entrepreneur you're now creating here. They are very much aligned. They go hand in hand. We have a very strict strategic focus on me being the face of Norders, our brands being very much together. But today, especially, we work on how to make your company brand stand out and communicate the value you create for the market. All good so far? I'm speaking clearly? Yeah. So what is a brand? Let's steal from the best. A brand is the set of expectations, memories, stories, and relationships that your customer, your ideal consumer, thinks about you, that helps them to choose or not to choose you. Expectations, memories, stories, and relationships that build your brand. Seth Godin, one of the greatest marketing minds of all time. If not familiar with him, highly recommend checking out his books. So that's what we're focusing on today. And brand, when I got invited here to talk about branding and brand, my brain immediately went into visual things of it. Some nuts, is that what comes to your mind? Logos, colors, yeah? I assume, how many professional graphic designers we have in the room? Yeah, good guess, Joonas. So we're not going to be going through the details of logo design or visual identity. We'll touch that too, but I really want to focus on brand and the value it creates and its role in the business. So how do we then build the brand for our business? What creates a brand for a business? Well, first of all, and I think this is a very crucial, important, and fun part for you right now, is that a brand is really a connector for all things to your business at this stage. So brand is the thing that brings together your ideal customer profile, your sales, your customer experience or production or product or service. You're sending an invoice, you asking after sending an invoice why the invoice is not being paid. It creates everything, it connects all those things. So I think that's a great way to look at the brand already from the beginning, is that it's not only something that the client sees, customer sees, consumer sees before it enters into your service or product, but it's the whole thing that it experiences throughout the journey, in good and bad. And a brand is a great tool, even before you have any customers, consumers, to connect all the dots together. So brand as a connector, super important. Well, then the more maybe traditional part that came to my mind, and when I think about branding, what I assume is the most common thing that people think when they think about branding, is how do you influence the outside world? How do you want to tell your story? How do you want to make yourself be seen and heard in the outside world? So how do you influence? How do you earn attention? How you keep attention, and how you convert attention into your service or product? So for that, brand is the tool to do that. Then after the brand is done, then it's tactics. Which channel, which format, is your audience all into podcasts? Do they go to events? Do they hang out on the streets? Do you meet them at the bar? Whatever it is, then it's just tactics. But once the brand and the influence is done, how do you communicate your value proposition to your audience? Okay, now we have a brand that connects all of our business divisions, all our business aspects together. We have a brand that is used to communicate to the outside world, to our ideal customer. And then after that, brand is a very great tool to be an authentic form and a power to then do the actual sale. I assume most of you will be doing the selling in the beginning of yourself. At least you'll be pitching, right, to get some finance. Maybe the first customers you need to sell yourself. And already then having your brand behind you. These are our values. This is what we stand for. This is our mission. This is the value we create. This is the problem we solve. That's already the idea validation you've been going through. That is now then turned into your brand message. And then you'll use that authenticity about you, your value proposition in the sales process. And then once that is done right, then you can actually scale it. So now you have a playbook of, okay, this is what we stand for, this is what we're going to do, this is what sort of problems we solve, this is the end result you can expect once you give your money to us. And then you have an authentic sales process thanks to good brand work. So someone might have already thought, okay, now he's going through all the different parts of the business, and that's exactly what I'm doing. So communication turns into sales. Now we've closed the sale, and now we use our brand values to execute the service. So you close the sale, your customer downloaded your app, installed your game, came into your bar, whatever it is. Now the brand needs to be present there, and the brand is the connector of your values. Okay, so this is what sort of customer experience you can expect from us. We're going to be very straightforward and efficient with you. Let's talk about a bank, for example. They're not that nice always. They're pretty straightforward. Or they can be a more of a service-oriented business where they really think about you and they want to take good care of you and think about your needs, and whatever your problem is, they're going to solve it. Whatever the values are, now the brand once again brings those together. And then this together creates a seamless brand experience for the customer. And the seamless experience, that's a very trendy word right now for a good reason. We all expect that. We've all used an app like Volt or Uber or Airbnb where everything is just perfectly aligned from start to finish. And no matter in what business, B2C, B2B, software, app, events you are in, that's the expectation from little kids to boomer CEOs and board members. So we expect to have the same seamless experience from the moment we hear from your brand, to you asking for our money, to you delivering your service or product. The experience needs to be seamless, and the brand is really the tool to create that seamless experience. And that is the connector journey, the main business divisions, as I would like to call them: marketing, sales, customer service. Those three things. Under customer service, I'll put finance and boring admin stuff. That's still important, but that goes under there. So that's what you connect with the brand to create a seamless experience. That's not really going to set you apart per se, But then what you can use the brand for, and what I think is really important today as well, is to be the category king or queen of your market. The difference between being the first and being the second is becoming bigger and bigger across any industry these days. It's a long, long time ago when Pepsi's golden strategy was, we're always going to be the world's best number 2. That doesn't really cut anymore, so you really need to focus on being very unique just to earn the attention. You can maybe ride a wave. I don't know if you've been talking about like rocket businesses here, like how you ride a wave. Okay, everyone's building a very trendy product AI app right now. So you can ride that wave, you can hit that wave, and you can maybe even cash in on that. But creating your own position is really going to be the long-term success. And having a brand to stand out for that is the easiest way to go about it. What are our values? How are we different from the competition? What sort of unique value we can create to the market, and use our brand to communicate that to our audience. And once again, the brand is done, then it's all about tactics later on. Once we have a message that separates us from everyone else, that our audience is honestly interested to hear, then it's just easy tactics about what channels and formats we use, digital or physical. Clear? Like super basic stuff, like boring, we knew this, or oh, this got me thinking. Second? Both? Okay, that's good. I like that. And an oldie but goldie, friendly reminder, plans are cheap. No one gives a fuck about your plan. We need to really execute. That's where the magic lies. I consider myself a very average person in all aspects of life. I'm not that smart, I don't think. Not that good looking. Have this really nice Kymenlaakso round figure. Don't really stand out in any aspects. But I've been really able to execute and fail constantly, just like do a lot of stupid things business-wise. And that has helped me to eventually build the brand. And that's what I also highly suggest for you to do. There might be some magic tricks, at least I don't know about them. But when it comes to brand building, make your best guess. Write out what you think you know today, and then start testing it out and building it from there. Okay, let's look at some examples of some of the brands that I like. I have a few B2B examples here and some B2C examples. I tried to pick up some brands that I hope also will be both familiar and maybe not so familiar. And then I'll go through why I think they are very unique and what we can learn from them. What messaging system do you use, like Teams or Slack at school? Teams. Does everyone know what Slack is? Yeah, so it's like Teams, but cooler. So Slack was the original one, and they have this very, very famous ad when Teams was launched 5, 6, 7 years ago. That was on Wall Street Journal and New York Times and all the big newspapers, which were more important than they are now. The app was just a letter to Microsoft, welcome to the game. And I thought that was really clever, and that was very, very Slack kind. I think Teams as a brand, it's more Microsoft-like. It's very engineering oriented. We work well. This is efficient. You're not gonna have a fun using this, but you'll get your message across. Whereas Slack is more of a playful, startup-y version of it, and they've used that leverage in a very clever way to attract startup-y audience that are often very early adopters, as startups are known to be. So having that playful aspect to it has helped them reach a huge audience in startups that now have grown into be Googles and Facebooks of their categories, and now Slack has grown hugely. But at the same time, Slack is also very efficient. It's very easy to use. It's very sort of, the user interface is very simple and even boring. And it's all about collaboration within the app, when you're doing the admin work there, and when you're working through the app with your team or with outside teams. The brand is all about collaboration and making things happen together. So those are good features that define them. On to the next one. Airbnb, an interesting one right now. Airbnb bust going on. I don't know if you guys have heard about it, but Airbnb in big trouble. So I thought this will be an interesting case for this one right now. So Airbnb losing a lot of markets. There's a big shift in consumer behavior. I remember back in the day when Airbnb came along, people started switching, going to hotels into doing Airbnb and spending really the hotel kind of money to do Airbnb. Now it seems to be going back the other way, that Airbnb is becoming the cheap way to travel, except they're in a lot of trouble now in a lot of cities, and people prefer hotels again. So that's an interesting case going on right now. But then Airbnb as a brand, it's more all about the community, has always been, bringing together the people who have a place to stay and a people who need a place to stay, right? It's about making you able to earn money with the place you have to be put up for a rent, and it helps you save money by going to live at someone else's place when you need to travel. It values local experiences, and it's really digital first way to do that local experience before you go to a place. And that was a big part of their market penetration. Okay, Slack, B2B, Airbnb, both B2C, B2B, really community driven as a business. The so-called D2C businesses saw a big rise in 2010s, so direct to consumer businesses. Does someone have a direct to consumer business idea here where you have something that normally would be sold at Prisma or City Market, but you plan to deliver directly to the customer? Maybe not. You? Cool. You know Dollar Shave Club?
No.
You're gonna love this. And since we're having a branding workshop, we need to watch one video, right? So we'll watch their really, really famous ad. So I think Dollar Shave Club was what I know of the first like D2C brand to really break it into market. So it's cheap razors, that's what it is. So razors that you normally buy from your local grocery store or from the supermarket. Dollar Shave Club came up with like, we can do the same thing but deliver them directly to the end user, and we can do a monthly subscription for it. So instead of you like, oh fuck, this razor doesn't work anymore, I need to go to the store, you'll get one every month delivered directly to direct to consumer. But what they acknowledged was that Johnson & Johnson's and the big boys were already dominating the market. We were so used to, as shavers, to go to the supermarket and buy it from there, from the Gillette brand or one of the other Johnson & Johnson brands that we were familiar with. So they needed to be, it was a force-driven decision for them to be very disruptive and very brave, to really stand out and position themselves as something different. Having cheap razors wasn't enough. They needed to do something very, very different. I forgot to ask about sound, but I guess we'll figure that out very soon. So this was their first ad.
Hi, I'm Mike.
Oh, it comes from my laptop. This might work. This was their first commercial. This is like a brand case study. Has someone seen this ad? Great. You have? Yeah, this is a classic one. You're gonna like this. So this is what it is, being disruptive, find your own voice. This is before they got finance. He's the founder, he's the CEO. They did this with their own crew and their own money, and this is just legendary stuff. I now put a high bar for this video, but we'll spend 90 seconds for it. I think you'll enjoy it.
Hi, I'm Mike. founder of DollarShaveClub.com. What is DollarShaveClub.com? Well, for $1 a month, we send high-quality razors right to your door. Yeah, $1. Are the blades any good? No. Our blades are f***ing great. Each razor has stainless steel blades, an aloe vera lubricating strip, and a pivot head. It's so gentle a toddler could use it. And do you like spending $20 a month on brand name razors? 19 go to Roger Federer. I'm good at tennis. And do you think your razor needs a vibrating handle, a flashlight, a back scratcher, and 10 blades? Your handsome-ass grandfather had 1 blade and polio. Looking good, pop up! Stop paying for shave tech you don't need. And stop forgetting to buy your blades every month. Alejandro and I are going to ship them right to you. We're not just selling razors, we're also making new jobs. Alejandro, what were you doing last month?
Not working.
What are you doing now?
Working.
I'm no Vanderbilt, but this train makes hay. So stop forgetting to buy your blades every month and start deciding where you're going to stack all those dollar bills I'm saving you. We are DollarShaveClub.com, and the party is on.
I know karate, I know jiu-jitsu and drive like a gangster when I'm coming to see you, see you, see you, see you.
Not too bad. Not too bad at all. So something we've always used, something that was like the most boring product of all time, that can be transformed into such a great phenomenon. Yeah, obviously he's great at acting. He actually had like an acting background, so it's a bit unfair. He knew how to make a video, so it's not like, let's go do a like Dollar Shave Club video, we'll all be rich. But it was still a cheaply made, very, very simple video with a very, 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 very simple product that was already like literally existing everywhere. So brand can really go a long way. Nothing innovative about that product, just great branding. Another one, direct consumer, one of my personal favorites, but I live in Finland, so I don't have a Casper mattress, but I am a sucker for this brand. Casper was the first direct-to-consumer brand for mattresses. Another similar example to Dollar Shave Club. So what Casper noticed that buying a mattress sucks. You go to a mattress store and they have like 75 different options and takes forever to find the person at IKEA who can help you actually choose one. You don't know really what to choose and the technology is really difficult. So how about there's just like 2 options, a simple way to get it delivered to your door, and if you don't like it, you have 100 days and they'll come and take it back. So they noticed problem in the market, no innovation except branding. We can actually have a easier, simpler version of the really painful old normal product for you that is easy to purchase. We're being helpful while you do it. The quality is right, and we help you also sleep better while you do it. So very similar story. These direct-to-consumer brands, I think they're great examples of what branding can do for the business, because they often are about a very sort of traditional, boring products that can be transformed with branding alone. Okay, and then I wanted to include one Finnish brand and something very different from the other ones. Wärtsilä, a global Finnish phenomenon, present across all over the globe, known for high quality, innovative, environmentally friendly, trustworthy products on building sustainable cities and engineering products for the heaviest parts of our industries. And that they have also competed in a very, very competitive market where huge forces, huge nations offer similar products. Korean government, Chinese government, they offer similar engineering, city building products that Wärtsilä does, but with their high quality, innovative, environmentally focused branding, they've been able to penetrate some really, really difficult markets that take a long time, a lot of networking, a lot of corruption, to be direct, to penetrate. But that is a great example, and yeah, wanted to include one Finnish brand here as well. Although they're branding is done in the States, which is another story about Finnish branding. But those were my branding examples. I bet the Dollar Shave Club stood out, part of the video too, right? Okay, that's another good friendly reminder. It's not what we do, but what other people think we do. And when we're not present, what do they talk about our brand? How many of you already have your brand? How many of you already have your brand name figured out? So there are people who don't know what the name of your business are. How many of you already have a logo? Do you like your logo? Someone? You have a logo?
Yeah.
You like your logo? Good news and bad news about the logo is that no one cares about our logos. Absolutely no one cares about. If you're not Apple or Disney or Google, no one cares about your logo. And I think that's what I really want to highlight here, that I've spent so much thinking about our logo, Norders logo, like how do I like it round, like how long it took me to like do this first slide this weekend, how much I was playing around, what proportion I want to have them. That's the so-called procrastination of entrepreneurs. Welcome to the club. Love to do and build those decks. No one cares. But it's important, and I think why it's important is because we have to look at it a lot. So we need to be proud of it. It needs to stand for something for us. So when the shit gets tough, when it gets really, really rainy, when we run out of money and our girlfriend or boyfriend leaves us, at least we have our logo that we can be proud of. And no joke, being there. But it's not that important. It's really about the values and the value we provide for the market. And you can go a long way with a cool video and a cool brand, but if the first time you get that Dollar Shave Club $1 razor and it doesn't work, you would cancel, right? Like you would absolutely cancel. Like this does not, I still have hair in my body. It doesn't work. So the value you provide for the market, the values you stand for, that's where it's at. That's what counts. And then you need to build that into a message. I think building your values is an easier part. Also overhearing some of your conversation earlier, just like what do you stand for? What do I like? What am I passionate about? How I would like this world to be? Do I value profit over everything? My product or service is gonna get you rich. You can forget the rest. Or do you value softer values? Do you value several values, or do you want to be all about one? Green values, whatever it is. What are your values? I think that's more of a look into yourself, be true to yourself, see what resonates with the market, you go from there. Making a message out of that, that's trickier. The exact words are very, very important, how it's going to earn attention, keep attention, and convert attention. And one of the things I suggest to invest early on, if you struggle with words, hire a copywriter. That I would much rather spend money on copy than on graphics. 100 over 0 every time. Making a logo is a lot more fun, I know, but the actual words that resonate with your ideal customer, do you use great or perfect, or do you use fast or efficient? Those are actually super, super important psychological factors and way more important over colors or shapes, not least because our messaging is also now moving a lot into different formats than just visual, audio becoming so big too. So how do you put that into words? Great exercise for entrepreneurs, and I think every founder should build their own first messages, and for that, the great beginning is to make it as short as possible. Tone of voice next. So now we have our values, we know what we stand for, what value we bring to the market, to our customers. We have a slogan, few words for it. How are we going to sound? Are we going to be funny and relaxed? Do we need to be super professional? Do we use strong swear words? Do we say our blades are fucking great, or our blades are okay-ish, they're good, they're fantastic, they're professional? And that's a lot about your market, right? But that is a big part of your brand. How do you sound and feel? How many of you have you thought about your brand values? Can I get one?
Sustainability.
You?
Yeah, same.
Sustainability?
We have the same idea.
And you have the same value. That's good. That's a good start. How about your copy? Have you written down your brand promise or slogan?
Sort of
Yeah.
like a story.
Yep, that's good. Brand story. Did you use a framework for that, or did you just
No, just
get high and let it go? You? You have your message written out? No. That's good. That's okay. I guess that's why I'm also here, right? Have you thought about your tone of voice? How do you sound?
not yet.
Does it feel natural? Do you have your market pretty figured out, so you have an idea how you're going to sound? Are you going to be funny or professional, for example?
Maybe more professional
Yeah.
right now, but it will change if we see which works better.
Yeah. Funny is very difficult. Comedy is the most difficult mode of theater. So if one decides to go that way, that's also good. Good to understand your values and your strengths. And then the big one, what problem do you solve? The three big ones, you help someone make money, save money, or get love. If you can provide one of those values, you're usually good. And many of the values we create end up in those categories anyway. But that's, I think, value proposition, that is the brand in the end. The greatest marketing ever is word of mouth. There's no better marketing than word of mouth. We spend a lot of money in our small money world into marketing, into different digital channels, in paid advertising, in events, and so on, to get leads that we can turn into customers. But the easiest, best paying customers we get are the phone calls. Hi Joonas, Kimmo told me that you made a cool website for him. I would like to have a similar one. They don't ask for pricing. They got the word of mouth. They know what value we created. And once you create enough value, us humans have a tendency that we want to tell other people something cool that we know that they don't. And that is the greatest marketing trick ever created. But for that, you need to create value. Good branding can be valuable itself. It can be entertaining. Dollar Shave Club, that ad was valuable itself. So where you create value, it can also be a bit more complex than just the make money, save money, get love aspect of it. Okay, visual identity is also important. The logo counts, colors count, your font counts. But I think, no, I declare that this counts for providing messaging for these. You have your colors picked out as well. You have a mood board for pictures you like to have. That's good. So logo, fonts, colors, they're important, but I think they really need to stand under this stack. Once you know these. So if your values are sustainability, maybe your brand colors are not going to be black and dark gray, for example. So they go hand in hand. But at the same time, for positioning, if your brand values sustainability, you might want to think if like green is going to be your only color either, right? Because standing out is going to be an important part of your brand. Another reminder of the magic of execution and how to approach your messaging. I said execution trumps planning every time, and I'd stand behind that, but I guess this is just a reminder of let's not be stupid. You can fail fast, you can fail often, you can fail a punch without being stupid. Okay, so we covered now what role does a brand play in a business concept. I heard there were some new things, some boring old things, and then we went through some examples. We looked at what builds a brand, and now we'll get into how to actually go through the process. All good still? So I guess I'm at the right time here. This is something you went through yesterday, Monday, validating the market. Did you go through the Don't Ask Your Mom process with Joonas? So yeah, so you're familiar with like the Don't Ask Your Mom thing, yeah? Because when you ask your mom, is my app good? They're gonna be like. But yeah, that's the unfortunate. I sort of tried to escape. I was working on like this first part, like I deleted this slide often because I tried to really build on something that you wouldn't have had before. But it's so key that you understand your customer, what they like, what gets their attention, what gets them moving, what breaks the status quo, what makes them give you money. That's so important to understand their situation and their problem. Just can't be overstated. And once you understand what sort of brand resonates with your customer, building that brand strategy. I was giving praise to your new Forward brand. I think it's really, really cool. And one of the first things I heard that there's a brand book for it. And I'm not surprised because I can see across channels that the brand is cohesive, it's seamless, it works well. So make the brand strategy, write out those values, put that visual identity into a place. You don't need to be a Photoshop genius anymore. You don't need to have any sort of special tools. Free Canva version has the coolest brand book feature in it, but make the brand strategy part of your go-to-market strategy. You went through go-to-market Monday, Tuesday, some strategy work?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
And validating the market through clients.
Yeah. But put brand in there. Brand is an evolution. Our first name was Ranch. R-A-N-C-H Ranch. I'm from a small branch in Kouvola, and I thought that was a clever name to sort of give kudos to my roots. And in 2021, Peter Westerpakka invested into our business, the Angry Birds guy, and we had a workshop with him. And this day I won't remember, Peter looked me into the eyes and said, Ranch, it's a shitty name. It reminds me of food sauce. You're gonna be Norders from now on. So we're Norders now. So your brand, it's an evolution. It grows, it's supposed to grow. So don't build the brand strategy into 10 stones. Google Doc is going to be fine. And then it evolves. Your name might change. But then it's all about the execution. Put it into work. One thing I still notice about Norders, for example, is that people call it Norders and Norders, of course, in Finland. So I'm still like, does the name, should it be something that's even easier to say? Does it matter? But the only way to execute is to put it into action and then to understand the market better, polish your strategy, execute again, the good old pivot. That's it. Building a brand, so easy, only 3 steps. The classic 3 steps. I thought there was a 4th one, but nope, just 3 steps. How far are you guys understanding your market? How I understood you did already cold calling and stuff like that. Do you have the ideal customer profile? How did you build one? It's like fictional characters. Do they have a name? No? That's good. I hate that stuff. How did you, do you have like customer profiles so they have personas, or just they are in Finland and they are, does it have an age?
For us, I can say that we somehow know the shape, the segment of a customer in a broader sense, but not exactly, we cannot differentiate the slight differences between them. We couldn't go through that yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as a whole, we know that for us at least we can say we know who is the customer.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, then I can say I think it's one of the biggest marketing bullshits and just consulting pricing to build those Johns and Marys. Mary likes a red car and has 3 kids and eats yogurt in the morning. Like, that Mary doesn't exist. We shouldn't care about that. But we should understand the market enough to know what sort of brands, in the brand context, what sort of brands do our ideal customers, the segment that we know could give us money, what sort of brands they like, what resonates with them, what brands make them move and make them give money, invest, spend money. Founder of Starbucks, I know something about branding. Another great example, coffee's been around forever and now he got you pay 10 euros for a cup of coffee. I did that. Okay, I was a bit faster than I thought, and maybe good or bad. So now we're gonna have a break, and these are your brand tasks. I was very happy to hear not too many values have been created yet. If you were one of the few that did create your values already, then you'll have a longer break. This one, I guess you have then done. So let's define our values. What do we stand for? That's more of a, let's look into ourselves. What are our brand values? What do we stand behind? And let's really try to think it in a way that would also separate us from the potential competition. So I don't want everyone to come here and say world peace. Cool. When we present the ideas, you might have already defined your customer pretty well. So no, I don't want Johns and Marys, but the broader segment in the way that you feel is reasonable and important now for your business, who is your customer. And then anyone except your mom. someone who knows that uses a similar kind of brand, service, product that you have in mind. It can be a friend. We don't need to do like crazy cold calling here, but let's ask at least someone what it is that they like about their favorite brand. And let's have it an open question. Let's see if they all talk about visual identity. I doubt it. So it can be anyone from the school, your friend, your dad even, but not your mom. And then what are the characteristics of your brand? The fourth one is, I guess, the trickiest one. What does your brand need to have to resonate for that ideal customer of yours? Does it need to have a Super Bowl commercial? Does it need to have presence in a certain channel? Does it need to have different kind of influencers? What does it need to have to earn the attention? Let's talk about the first stage, earn the attention. Is the number 4 clear for everyone? And then 2 to 4 things that you need to do first once with executing your roadmap. So do you feel like, okay, we really need to build that brand book. This is such a visual product. We're going to be in store shelves or we're going to be in an app store. It's all about how we stand out in a visual marketplace. Okay, brand book it is. Or are you going to be very sales oriented? Does your sort of value prop, customer reference stories, that part of your brand need to be the execution roadmap priority? I think number 4 and 5 especially, I can then help a lot with 1 to 3 is background info. Here are some ideas for the questions. To ask your dad, do you play video games? What are your 1 to 3 favorite video games? What comes to your mind when you think about those video games? What do you like about those brands? What you don't like about their brands? How and where you engage with those brands. And another slide I spent a lot of time on. All good? Any questions now? Okay, let's do it.
So, what you were talking about, like asking about brands that are similar to the one you're building. What if there isn't really a market like the product you're building?
What are you building?
It's like basically an automatic plant growing system.
Well, who is going to use it?
Basically like anyone who wants like plants just for decoration to people who would like to have like their own spices in their kitchen or tomatoes or something like that.
So people with kitchens, end users.
Yeah.
Okay. So then I would ask, then it's actually pretty easy for you to have plants. And you can basically ask anyone who has plants or herbs in their kitchen.
Yeah.
Where do you get your plants? Why do you get your plants from there? What do you like about IKEA? About their brand. I get my plants from IKEA because it's easy. I know they have stock. I know that it's cheap.
Thanks.
Your tasks are done. You have a long break. Yeah, anyone else? Okay, cool. So we'll see here at 2, 3.
Yeah. Could we characterize a little bit more about the end, like form where the submission is going? We were earlier discussing with the, like if you have a 3-minute presentation
Yeah.
with these with these brand books and the logos and everything with associated with the brand. So I would say we would go with everyone would like prepare a presentation of 3 minutes.
Yes.
Which can be a slide deck, it can
Yeah.
be a video, it can be both, and whatever you want to do with your brand and like to.
Yeah, sorry, I thought that was communicated. So, so 3 minutes for each business to present these 5 answers. It can be a dance, it can be a slide deck, it can be a Google Doc, PowerPoint, anything. It can be a challenge, it can be a video, no nudes. No.
After everyone has presented 3 minutes, we will choose the winners. So keep it open-minded. This is the audience you're going to present. So I think the creativity will win today.
We'll see what will win today. I'll come up with a prize.
And we will send we can send these questions also to the WhatsApp group.
Okay,
So
yeah.
people can get back to those. And with the time frame also. So, but as Joonas said,
What time do we meet back here? Was it 2 or 3?
2.
2.
Yeah.
So by 2 p.m. we need to have presentation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ready.
So you have 4 hours. That's plenty.
Yeah. And you can go to the lunch. Of course, we have a half an hour break.
3 minutes. In any format.
And remember, this is not a pitch for your business. This is more like a pitch of your brand.
Impress me.
Yeah.
But I'll go to the city now. I got booked some new business meetings, so I'll try to go and make some money meanwhile, and I'll go to the store and I'll get us a cool ass price, I promise. So I don't know yet what it's going to be, but 1 month subscription.
One question. Like, how you guys want to visualize the presentation? Is it for just the public, just to give a brief knowledge about the business, or the purpose is it to seek an attention, or?
To answer these 5 questions, you don't need to present your business. I have the background information for your businesses. So what I really hope to see that I think is most beneficial for you out of this exercise is to define your values in the context to your ideal customer. So if world peace is your value, why is it important to your customer? How does it help them to give you money? That's sort of the connection. Like the dance needs to be really cool to win if that's not there. So that's the connection I'm looking for. What are the brand values? How do you create value so someone will give you money?
Yeah, and keep in mind the brand elements Joonas was discussing.
Yeah, well,
I wrote down the values, message, tone of voice, value proposition, etc. So these are elements you can characterize.
yeah. But yeah, I also on purpose, I didn't want to make you spend 4 hours on drawing logos here. That's not the purpose of this either.